in the culture there, Pachamama is our mother. And it represents everything on this planet. Very similar to Maka and Unchi in the Lakota way. So it's just another name. So in Peru, you bring the mother gifts, just like we sometimes bring gifts out, put the spirit plate out, do things to acknowledge the Lakota way of thinking and some of the other cultures. So Pachamama is sacred. She holds us. She feeds us. She cares for us. She does all of the things from bringing the sun in the morning to giving us life, bringing us the wind so we can breathe. So we honor Pachamama. So we were traveling with Riaru, who was a Chutski, who is a runner, who ran and presented or announced all the ceremonies to all the different kingdoms, tribes, whatever you want to call them. So they would all come together for a ceremony called Inkarimi, which is also in the book. But when I was packing, Spirit had me pack some things that I didn't understand why I was packing them. But I did, because I always listened to Spirit. And when I got to Machu Picchu, why the tour guide, Michael Lightweaver, was giving a talk, and I had seen him give this exact same thing. So I wandered off, and there were a circle of rocks there. So I climbed, I put on some of the things, some of the clothing, and held some of the sacred objects that Spirit had told me to take with me. And I climbed onto one of these rocks. They were tall rocks, very similar to Stonehenge, except they had platforms at the bottom to stand on. So I stepped up on the platform and leaned against the rock and instantly disappeared. I was gone. And went to a place that was amazing. And in that place I had an experience that healed everything that I had held inside about religions being dominated by men. Because my belief system was, coming out of abuse, etc. Why should I listen to a man? Why isn't the woman in charge? And so through that experience that I explain in the book, that healed that. I understood where both are needed, and went to a place that was so beautiful and had such an incredible experience. So everybody left and they didn't miss me. And I was still stuck on the rock, except I wasn't there. So about 4 o'clock in the morning, they missed me. And they came back, and I had re-materialized, but I was stuck to the rock. So they peeled me off and carried me to bed.
Oh, wow.
But I have had people read what I experienced, where it healed everything for them about religion. And how it doesn't matter who's speaking. That a lot of times the men may be speaking, but the women are the creators. The power behind that speech. It's balance. Both have to be there in order for that energy and manifestation to happen. It's not a women are stronger than men or men are stronger than women. It's that each one has their own purpose and they are equal. We used a lot of sound. First of all, at Machu Picchu, I could hear the sounds. So using sound, especially the sounds that create things, and these sounds came from a man called Beautiful Painted Arrow, or Joseph Rael. And one of the sounds that he talks about, which means life or manifestation, is one I can share with you right now. It's not in the book, but I can share it with you.
Please.
It goes like this. What I have found that when I sing it, the octave or the notes that come out are totally guided from spirit for me. But I can feel the tingling all over my body. I can feel that energy moving into reality. Well, we can have several soulmates. We can have twin souls. Our oversoul puts out many manifestations out there at the same time. It'd be inefficient if there was just one. So oftentimes you will meet one of your soulmates. You might not even like them. I've met two of mine. One I didn't like, this one I loved. But he was Peruvian, and he was married as I was married at the time. And he had 9 children, and we knew that this was a brief meeting, just a brief meeting. But when we hugged each other, the only way I can describe it is that all of reality disappears. There's just 2 energies holding each other in a white mist. And it's absolutely incredible. You know, so we walked the grounds together, and he showed me things that were not on the tourist. And one of the things that he mentioned was a cave underneath Machu Picchu. And the weather was real bad, and it's dangerous to get to this cave anyway, so we could not go down. But he took me down there through bilocation. And he showed me an altar down there. And on that altar was a large, this is just a small crystal skull, but on that altar was a crystal skull. There is, and depending on who you talk to, there's 12 or 13 or 4, it doesn't matter. But what they're saying is when all of the crystal skulls are discovered, and come together in a circle, that's when we will transition into light and love, the whole planet. Well, I only know of 4 at this point. But years later, what happened was, I was asked to go to Canada to teach, and I went to Canada. And when I got off the plane, the women that met me said, "We want to take you to meet someone." So they took me to this little white house in one of the villages, and I opened the door, and there was a very nice woman that opened the door, and she looked at me and she said, "Why has it taken you so long?" And I looked at her, and then I looked behind her, and in the living room was Dune, her crystal skull. This was the Mitchell Hedges crystal skull. And if you know me, I don't go down on my knees to many people or many things. But I was down in front of that crystal skull. I remembered it. I remembered how it was formed. I remembered its purpose. And then that night, she allowed me to sleep with it right over my crown chakra. So I have many, many memories of that crystal skull and how it was created. And on my altar, this is one I have on my altar because it has been with that skull and been blessed by it. I think it would be more fun if people move through the stories with me in the book so they can have their own realities, because as I left Machu Picchu, what I brought with me was an absolute joy of understanding that there's no time and space. It does not exist. That everything's happening at one time. And that if you are willing, you can slide into those other times and bring back memories and remember who you are, who you really are, everywhere. And it was in the book, Spirit said to me, all dimensions exist simultaneously. So if you're having a challenge in your life, whether it's trauma or something else, you have the opportunity, since it's still existing, to go back there and change it, to understand it, to grow from it, to take the blessings from it, instead of keep repeating that pattern in your life over and over and over again. You know, when I was younger, I repeated the pattern several times through not only relationships, but rejection, etc. And I thought I was okay until I looked at my patterns and how those were overlapping. But in this reality, or any of the realities or dimensions, if that point in existence changes, it changes all of them.